everyone, welcome to our channel Knowledge Hub. Friends, subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon for the latest update. आज हम आपकी इंग्लिश की क्लास करने वाले हैं जो कि इंग्लिश वोकैबुलरी की क्लास है एंड दिस इज़ द क्लास ऑफ क्लास नंबर 10 एंड हमने ऑलरेडी क्लास 9 ऑलरेडी कर लिया है एंड जिसमें हमने ऑलरेडी अगर मैं बात करती हूँ तो 468 वर्ड्स ऑफ न्यू वोकैबुलरी हम ऑलरेडी डिस्कस कर चुके हैं इवन दो दैट कैन एनहांस योर वोकैबुलरी एज वेल दैट वी हैड डन हियर. And now we'll start discussing about 469th word that can improve your vocabulary, and hopefully we will be completing the 400th series in this class only, as you can achieve a goal of new these words, because 468 words भी बहुत important होते हैं आपके vocabulary को enhance करने के लिए, आपके English speaking को enhance करने के लिए, because vocabulary की shortage के वजह से ही हम English उतना अच्छे से नहीं बोल पाते. This is the first reason that we are not able to speak English in a proper manner. Now we discuss the 469th word here, that is your austerity. Austerity is a word that is used as adjective here, and the meaning of austerity is sternness of manner और एटीट्यूड, जिसे हम कहते हैं स्टर्नेस हो रहा है किसी तरह से या फिर एटीट्यूड दिखता है जिसे हम कहते हैं कठोरता इन हिंदी. तो ऑस्टेरिटी is directly mean in Hindi, that is kathorta. Okay, and that is difficult economic condition created by the government measures to reduce public expenditure, and that in Hindi that is मितव्ययता, that is the austerity, that economic condition जो है वो गवर्नमेंट के थ्रू ऐसी क्रिएट कर दी जाए, ऐसी मेजर कर दी जाए जिसके थ्रू पब्लिक एक्सपेंडिचर्स को रिड्यूस करना पड़े. फॉर दैट सेक द ऑस्टेरिटी इट मीन्स, एंड ऑस्टेरिटी जो है दैट इज द कठोरता here. So here you can see that the austerity is in Hindi katorta and the austerity is your mitveta. Now moving on the synonyms of austerity here. The austerity synonyms are, that is asceticism, severity, strictness, harshness, rigor and rigidity. These were the synonyms of austerity here. We're talking about the antonyms of austerity here. The antonyms of austerity is gentleness, mildness, leniency, clemency and amity, that the amenity, that is antonyms of austerity here. Now the examples of austerity, how you use the word austerity in framing your sentences while you are talking to someone. The examples of austerity is the government could afford a slight relaxation of its austerity. तो बेसिकली गवर्नमेंट जो है वो अफोर्ड कर सकता है एक स्लाइट रिलैक्सेशन ऑफ इट्स ऑस्टेरिटी, उसकी अपनी खुद की कठोरता में वो थोड़ा सा रिलैक्सेशन दे सकता है. Now the trick to learn the word austerity here is, ऑस्ट्रेलिया की बैटिंग बहुत ऑस्टेरिटी है. ऑस्ट्रेलिया की बैटिंग बहुत ऑस्टेरिटी है. दिस इज द trick to learn the word austerity here. Now the next word is your 470th word, and the word is long. Long is a word that is used as verb here, and the meaning of long is have a strong wish or desire. आपके पास जब कोई strong wish होती है, कोई desire होता है, then you can use the word long there, and which is used as verb here. The meaning of long in Hindi is अत्यंत अभिलाषा करना. Now the synonyms of long is here: yearn, pine, ache, burn, hunger, thirst, itch, pant, covet, and of course covet and crave. These were the words of synonyms of long. Now discussing about antonyms of long here: spurn, hate, loath, despise, and that abominate. Now the examples of long that or where we have to use these word is long. After years of war, the people long for a lasting peace. Basically बहुत टाइम के बाद, वॉर के भी बहुत टाइम के बाद, पीपल जो होते हैं लॉन्ग टाइम के लिए लास्टिंग पीस दे आर सर्चिंग फॉर. The trick to learn the word long with the meaning is, लॉन्ग टाइम आप क्या लॉन्ग करते हैं वही मिलता है। तो लॉन्ग टाइम के बाद आप जो भी डिज़ायर करते हैं या जो भी आपकी स्ट्रॉन्ग विश होती है, आपको वही मिलता है। तो दैट इज़ व्हाट लॉन्ग टाइम, आप क्या लॉन्ग करते हैं वही आपको मिलता है। तो दिस इज़ द लॉन्ग विच इज़ द वर्ड यूज्ड एज वर्ब हियर। Now moving on with the next one that we have here is your 471th word, and that is also an important to enhance your vocabulary, and that we have here. 471th word is crumble. Crumble is a word that is used as verb, and the meaning of crumble is that word that we using those word as a verb here. The meaning of crumble is break or fall apart into small fragment, especially as a part of the process of deterioration, जिसे कहते हैं टुकड़े टुकड़े करना। तो टुकड़े टुकड़े करना, फ्रैगमेंट मतलब भी होता है एक पर्टिकुलर कोई चीज़ है उसको आप पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर देते हो। तो ब्रेक करना, चाहे आपका फॉल होना एक स्मॉल स्मॉल फ्रैगमेंट्स में, एक बिग लार्ज थिंग है उसको स्मॉल स्मॉल फ्रैगमेंट्स में आपने डिवाइड किया है, स्पेशली एज अ पार्ट ऑफ द प्रोसेस ऑफ डिटोरिएशन देयर, एंड इन हिंदी द क्रम्बल मीन्स इज टुकड़े टुकड़े करना। Now the synonyms of crumble we have here is. Now, if I'm talking about the crumble synonym of crumble, the synonym of crumble we have is disintegrate, collapse, fragment, deteriorate, perish, molder. These were the synonyms of a crumble here. Now, talking about the antonyms of crumble is it? The antonyms of crumble is develop, build, ameliorate, better, and improve. These were the antonyms of crumble here. Now talking about the examples of crumble where you are using these words in the forming of sentences, then of course this example is the cliff of face was starting to crumble into the sea. The trick to learn the word crumble with their meaning is रम की बोतल के क्रम्बल्स कर दिए। रम की बोतल के क्रम्बल्स कर दिए, इट मीन्स रम की बोतल के टुकड़े टुकड़े कर दिए। Now talking about the another word that we have, your 472th word, and the word is endo. Endo is a word that is used as verb here, and the meaning of endo is provide with a quality. आप कोई चीज़ provide कर रहे हो with their quality, ability or asset. Provide with quality, ability or asset. Endo that is used as verb, and the meaning of in Hindi endo is. So under in Hindi, that under meaning in Hindi is pradhan karna. So pradhan karna is the word that we are used. You can use the word endure there. The synonyms of endure that we have here is endue, furnish, equip, confer, and bestow. The antonyms of endure we have is receive, disposes, deprive. The examples of endure that we have here is he was endowed with a tremendous physical strength. So he was endowed with a tremendous physical strength. This is an example where you can frame the sentences with using this word. The trick to learn the word endure with your meaning is end में इंडिया ने help endure की, तो end में इंडिया ने help प्रदान की. This is the sentence that you the trick that you can learn. End में इंडिया ने help endure की, that means end में इंडिया ने help प्रदान की. Okay, now moving on to the next word that we have your 473th word, and the word we have here is. Now moving on to the next word that we have a 473th word, and the word is topple here. The word topple that is used as verb here, and the meaning of topple we have is remove, that is a government or a person in authority that you can remove that from the power. तो आप कोई government government या person या है तो उसकी authority को अगर आप remove कर रहे हो, किसकी power को remove कर रहे हो, either it could be in the government or power of authority, person in an authority, remove from the power or overthrow, that is the topple means. The meaning of topple in Hindi is हटा देना like remove कर देना. So where the topple in Hindi is हटा देना. Now the synonyms of topple we have is dust, sorry, oust, 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 depose, unseat, overturn, dislodge, eject, and dethrone. These were the synonyms of topple here. The antonyms of topple is vest, enthrone, install, appoint, retrain. Now the examples of tuple that where you can use these words in the forming a sentences. This scandal could topple the government. This scandal could topple the government. ये scandal जो है वो हटा देगा ये government को. That you can frame the sentences as like. The trick to learn the word topple with their meaning is topper को topple कर दिया. तो topper को topple कर दिया is mean topper को हटा दिया. Okay. That you can use the word here. Now in the next word that we have here 474, and the word is imprudent. Imprudent is a word that is used as adjective, and the meaning of imprudent here, not showing care for the consequences of an action या rash जिसे कहते हैं. कोई भी आप शो नहीं कर रहे हो केयर, आप consequences जो आपके actions के थ्रू हो रहे हैं या rash हो रहा है, that is imprudent. You can use the word the imprudent in Hindi, that is अविवेकी या लापरवाह. लापरवाह भी होते हैं अगर कुछ लोग, या something that has been done as लापरवाह, you can use the word imprudent there. Now talking about the synonyms of imprudent that we have, the synonyms of imprudent is injurious, indiscreet, unwary, reckless, short-sighted, and foolhardy. The antonyms of imprudent that we have here is prudent, cautious, sensible, discreet. Now talking about the examples of imprudent here is the banks made hundreds of imprudent loan in 1970s. तो banks ने ना hundreds of imprudent आपके लापरवाह loans दिए in 1970s. Okay, and the trick to learn the word imprudent we have here is proud feel नहीं आता imprudent लोगों पे. तो imprudent लोगों पे, लापरवाह लोगों पे proud feel नहीं होता या proud feel नहीं आता. That is the trick to learn the word imprudent here. Now moving on with the next word that we have a 475 word, and that is also too important for your vocabulary here is. Now the 475th word that we have here is keystone. Keystone is a word that is used as noun here, and the meaning of keystone that we have here is the central principle or a part of a policy system, etc., on which all else depends. That is the keystone here. The meaning of keystone is pradhan. Pradhan is the keystone. You can use the word there as keystone. The synonyms of keystone we have is foundation, linchpin, cornerstone, core, heart, crux, underpinning. These were the synonyms of your keystone here. Now talking about the antonyms of keystone as accessory, adjunct, supplement. These were the antonyms of keystone here. And now talking about the examples, how to you can use the word a keystone as an exact form of example. We hope to see you become a keystone of intellectual community. We hope to see you become a keystone of intellectual community. That is the form of example of you can frame the sentences while using these words. The trick to learn the word keystone here is ये की player है टीम के keystone player है. तो basically ये key player है टीम का, और of course that is the keystone player also. Now moving on with the next one that we have here 476th word, and the word we have here is envisage. Envisage is a word that is used as verb here, and the meaning of envisage is contemplate or conceive of as possibility or desirable future. That is your events, that is contemplate or conceive was as possibility of the desirable future events. जिसे हम envisage को हिंदी में कहते हैं कल्पना करना. कल्पना करना is a word that is in English, that is envisage here. Now talking about the synonyms of envisage here is that is foresee, predict, forecast, envision, contemplate, and visualize. These were the synonyms of envisage here. The antonyms of envisage we have here is disregard, ignore, overlook. Now talking about the examples of envisage that we have is nobody can envisage the consequences of the total nuclear war. That you can frame the sentences like this while using the word envisage here. Now talking about the trick to learn the word envisage is US वीज़ा के लिए envisage करते हैं, तो US वीज़ा के लिए कल्पना करते हैं. This is the trick that you can learn the envisage word while we are using these words in the form of sentences, while these words we are using in the vocabulary to enhance the vocabulary as well as to enhance the English proficient, and of course that to maintain English efficient, of course, that we are using here. And the 476th word we had completed. Now we are moving with 477th word, and that is also too important that we have here is there the word 477th word, and the word is pernicious. Pernicious is a word that is used as adjective, and the meaning of pernicious is having a harmful effect, especially in a gradual or a subtle way. So basically pernicious, you can use the word where that having a harmful effect, especially in the gradual or subtle way. In Hindi, the pernicious meaning is हानिकारक. हानिकारक होना, that is the harmful होना, and pernicious you can use that word here. Now the synonyms of pernicious we have as noxious, baleful, pestilent, detrimental, deleterious. The antonyms of pernicious we have here is incautious, wholesome, benign, salubrious, and salutary. The examples of pernicious that we have to discuss here is smoking is pernicious. Basically, smoking is हानिकारक. That you can use the word here. Now, talking about the trick of pernicious here, the trick is precious चीजें pernicious हैं. तो precious चीजें pernicious होती हैं, precious चीजें हानिकारक होती हैं. Now talking about the next word that we have, a 478th word, and the word is commensurate. Commensurate is a word that is used as adjective here, and the meaning of commensurate is corresponding in size or degree in proportion. Basically, corresponding in size or degree in proportion, and in Hindi that is anurup. The synonyms of commensurate we have here is that is a proportionate, appropriate, equivalent, and tantamount. Tantamount. The antonyms of commensurate we have as unfitting, irregular, and asymmetrical. Now the example of commensurate is employees are paid salaries commensurate with those of teacher. Now the trick to learn the word commensurate here is that man के rights women के commensurate होना चाहिए. तो man के rights जो होते हैं वो women के अनुरूप होना चाहिए. That in Hindi we are dealing with the trick here. Now talking about the next word that we have, a 479th word, that is also too important. Here is the 479th word, and the word is deplorable. Deplorable is a word that is used as adjective here, and the meaning of deplorable is deserving strong condemnation, completing unacceptable. And in Hindi, the deplorable means is apyashkari. Apyashkari is the in Hindi of deplorable. Now the synonyms of deplorable that we have is disgraceful, appalling, awful, unpardonable, and abominable. Abominable is that abominable is the synonyms of deplorable. The antonyms of deplorable we have admirable, praiseworthy, meritorious, and honorable. The example of deplorable is the prisoners were held in deplorable condition. Prisoners जो होते हैं वो आपके deplorable conditions में जाते हैं. Now the trick that we have is your polar area में bigger beach गिराते हैं तो deplorable करते हैं सभी. Okay, now talking about the next one that we have here for 80th word, and the word we have is privy. Privy is a word that is used as adjective here, and the privy meaning of that word that is used as adjective here is sharing in the knowledge of something secret or private. कोई चीज़ का आपने knowledge share किया है और वो आपका secret है और private है, then that is you can use the word privy here, and privy in Hindi is से अवगत कराना. Now the synonyms of privy we have acquainted with, informed of, apprised of, cognizant of, and in the know about. The antonyms of privy we have here is unaware of, unacquainted with, and uninformed of. The examples of privy we have that from which we can frame the sentences while using these words, and the examples of privy we have here is she was not privy to any information contained in the letters. Now the trick to learn the word privy is प्राइवेट बातें प्राइवी हुई हैं, तो प्राइवेट बातें से अवगत हुआ है, तो that means प्राइवेट बातें प्राइवी हुई हैं. Okay, you had shared the private बातें in knowledge of something secret, or that is private. Now moving on with the next word that we have here, 481th word that we have to discuss here is, the next word is 481th word, and the word is akin here. Akin is a word that is used as adjective here, and the meaning of akin is of similar character, that is saman prakrti wale, that is of similar character, and that akin is used as. The synonyms of akin we have is analogous, parallel, alike, comparable, inequivalent. Now the antonyms of akin is dissimilar, unlike, disparate, and incongruent. The examples of akin that we have here is, the game is closely akin to the rugby. The trick to learn the word akin here is ये किन akin है, that ये किन जो है वो समान प्रकृति वाले हैं. Now the word that we have here is your 482th word that we have to learn here is, the word is tranquility. Tranquility is a word that is used as noun here, and the meaning of tranquility is the quality or a state of being tranquil, that calm. That tranquility in Hindi is shanti or dheeraj. The synonyms of tranquility we have here is serenity, quietude, harmony, equanimity. The antonyms of tranquility we have here, uproar, chaos, pandemonium, and tumult. The examples of tranquility is, the hotel is a heaven of peace and tranquility. The trick to learn the word tranquility is quiet होने tranquility होना एक ही बात है, तो quiet होना tranquility होना, that all are in the same way. This is the trick that you can learn the word here. Now moving on to the next word, that is your 483th word that we have. 483th word, that the word we have is feasible. Feasible is a word that is used as adjective here, and the meaning of feasible that we have here is possible to do easy and conveniently. कोई चीज़ possible आप easily कर सकते हो या conveniently कर रहे हो, तो that is the meaning. And the feasible in Hindi is संभव और व्यवहार्य. The synonyms of feasible that we have is viable, practicable, achievable, workable, sensible, and reasonable. These were the synonyms of feasible that we have to deal with. The antonyms of a feasible that we have is impractical, unreasonable, unattainable, and ridiculous. These were the antonyms of feasible, and the examples of feasible that we have is, it's not feasible to follow your proposal. It is not feasible, it is not sambhav that we are following your proposal here, that you can use the word. And the trick to learn the word for the word flexible, and that is of course the feasible. The flexible होने से feasible हो जाता है काम, तो flexible होने से convenient हो जाता है, संभव हो जाता है काम. Now the next word we have your 484th word, and the word is distress here. The distress word that is used as noun. The meaning of distress we have is extreme anxiety, sorrow, or a pain. That in Hindi, that distress is pida or vipatti. Now the synonyms of distress we have is anguish, torment, agony, misery, woe, and grief. These were the synonyms of distress here. Now talking about the antonyms of distress, happiness, comfort, jollity, jubilation, and rapture. Now talking about the examples of distress is, nothing could alleviate his distress. कोई भी चीज़ alleviate नहीं कर सकती उसके distress को. The trick to learn the word is stress भी एक distress है, तो stress भी एक distress है. This is stress भी एक पीड़ा है. This is the word that where you can use these word in the form of कि stress भी एक पीड़ा है, that stress भी एक distress है. This is the way you can use the word, you can learn the word with their meaning, and so that you can easily go through with the word to use those words in your vocabulary as well as in your communication. Talking about the next word that we have here, 485 word that we have here is, now the word we have is 485 word, and the word is a spur here. Spur is a word that is used as verb here, and the meaning of spur that we have here is give an incentive or encouragement to someone, promote the development of, stimulate. And the spur in Hindi that we have is प्रोत्साहित करना या फिर उस्काना. तो that in synonyms of spur we have is foment, stimulate, prod, induce, impel, urge, stir, incite, goad. So that were all the synonyms of spur here. Antonyms of spur we have discourage, dissuade, deter, hinder. Now talking about the examples of spur, that where you can use the word with the forming sentences, that is her difficult childhood spurred her on to succeed. The trick to learn the word spur is इस टॉपिक पर स्पर हो जाते हैं. तो इस टॉपिक पर स्पर हो जाते हैं, इस टॉपिक पर प्रोत्साहित हो जाते हैं. So that what you can use the word and you can learn the word. Now moving on with the next word that we have here, 486 the word, and the word is scrutiny. Scrutiny is a word that is used as noun, and the meaning of scrutiny we have critical observation or examination. Critical observation or critical examination करना, जांच करना, समीक्षा करना. These were the words that you can use the word scrutiny here. Now here the synonyms of scrutiny we have is inspection, perusal, inquiry, audit, probe, review. These were the synonyms of scrutiny here. The antonyms of scrutiny we have glance, peep, glimpse, squint. Examples of scrutiny that we are using in the framing sentences that we have here, their activities have come under the police scrutiny. The trick to learn the word scrutiny with their meaning is हर screw का scrutiny करते हैं. तो हर screw का scrutiny करते हैं. That is the word, that is the trick that you can learn these words in an easy way with their meaning. Now moving on with the next word that we have, our 487th word that we have to discuss is, now here this is the 487th word, and the word is scrupulously. Scrupulously is a word that is used as adverb here, and the meaning of scrupulously is in a very careful and a thorough way. एक careful और thorough way में करने के लिए. And scrupulously in Hindi that अति सतर्कता पूर्वक, तो बहुत ही ध्यान से करने के लिए, then we can use the word scrupulously here. The synonyms of scrupulously we have is conscientiously, meticulously, religiously, rigorously, and painstakingly. These were the synonyms of scrupulously here. The antonyms of scrupulously we have is carelessly, superficially, and heedlessly. The example of scrupulously is, it's an important to scrupulously offer when marking the final exam paper. Now talking about the trick to learn the word scrupulously is that screw bridge में scrupulously लगाते हैं. Now the next word we have a 80th word, and the word we have is bottleneck here. The bottleneck is a word that is used as noun here, and the meaning of bottleneck is a situation that comes delay in a process or a system, that a situation that causes delay in a process or a system. Or bottleness is a word that in Hindi is rukawat, that is the bottleneck that you can use the word here. The synonyms of bottleneck is blockage, obstructions, impediment, hindrance, and log jam. The antonyms of bottleneck we have aid, assistance, relief. The examples of bottleneck we have animated film are still stymied by the technological bottleneck. The trick to learn the world bottleneck we have here is bottle रोड पे ना डालें, bottleneck बन जाती है. तो bottle रोड पर ना डालें, bottle रुकावट बन जाती है. That is the word we can use here. As of you know that all these 488 word we had provided here, these all words are important, and even though they are useful for your vocabulary and to enhance that English also, that we are providing here these word here. And first of all, अगर आप हमारे चैनल फर्स्ट टाइम देख रहे हो या अभी तक आपने हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है, इट्स अ रिक्वेस्ट कि आप हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करो, सो दैट हम जो भी वीडियोस डालें वो आपके पास सबसे पहले पहुंचे. एंड सेकेंडली, अगर आपको हमारा वीडियो अच्छा लगे तो प्लीज़ हमारे वीडियो को लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब करो, सो दैट ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग के पास वीडियो पहुंचे और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग इसका यूटिलाइजेशन भी कर सकें. इंस्टेड ऑफ डूइंग दीज, आप प्लीज़ इसको लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब करो. और सारे ही चैनल, अगर आप जो भी वीडियोस देख रहे हो तो उसके प्लेलिस्ट में जाके आप गो थ्रू कर सकते हो. आपको वहाँ पे सारे सब्जेक्ट की वीडियोस मिल जाएंगे. एक बच्चे ने बोला था डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड सिस्टम के मुझे प्लीज़ आपके हैंड रिटन नोट्स चाहिए, तो प्लीज़ आप डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड सिस्टम के प्लेलिस्ट पे जाके आप उसको गो थ्रू कर सकते हो. वहाँ पे सारे टॉपिक आपके डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड सिस्टम के कवर अप किए गए हैं. वेयर एज एक बच्चे ने बोला था उस्मानिया यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए क्या ये आपके जो नोट्स हैं वो यूज्ड हो सकते हैं, तो येस ऑफ कोर्स ये हो सकते हैं. आप प्लीज़ आप गो थ्रू कर सकते हैं. अदर देन दैट, अगर इंस्टेड ऑफ दिस टॉपिक जो मैंने कवर अप किया उसके अलावा कोई टॉपिक्स हैं आपके जो इंक्लूडेड है, तो यू कैन जस्ट कमेंट ऑन दैट एंड आई विल बी प्रोवाइडिंग यू दोज एक्सेप्टेड, you know, those topics that we had not included there. Okay, so you can include that also. And even though those who had subscriber जिन्होंने मुझे रिक्वेस्ट किया है कुछ टॉपिक्स के लिए, कुछ सब्जेक्ट्स के लिए, तो प्लीज़ वेट फॉर दैट, आई विल बी प्रोवाइडिंग यू दैट also. And keep tuned with us. Thank you, hope you enjoy this video. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and give a suggestion on a comment box. Please like, share and subscribe our channel and enhance your vocabulary as well as your English speaking as well as your communication. Thank you.